Hello, everyone. Today, in our toppers talk, we are going to meet another great achiever, that is Vyom Bindal. Vyom Bindal has secured 141 rank in this year's result, and his optional is PSIR, and he is basically by education an engineer. And it's a fortunate moment for me also because I have been knowing him for a very long time, and his consistency and his hard work has brought him where he is today. So welcome to you, Vyom, and lots of congratulations from our side.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. The great effort has been put by you also. I have disturbed you a lot, and today finally I'm here. Thanks a lot.
It's a pleasure to listen to you today here. Vyom, tell us something about your journey of UPSC because it has been your sixth attempt. So 5 years and finally the sixth attempt. This motivation for all the 6 years. Tell us something about your journey.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think since you already said, in my case, it has been quite a long journey, and therefore I have faced several failures. I have given 2 interviews earlier, and so that was a kind of setback. But I think two things kept me motivated. Ma'am, one was the sense of achievement that this exam gives. Once you clear it, you get a sense of satisfaction that I have cleared such a difficult exam. Second is, ma'am, the focus and the goal which we had started with which we have started this preparation. I always try to keep that in mind. So I started this with my father's inspiration. He is a social worker. He works for the poor children. So from him, I got the idea that I should also make some contribution to the society. And there are many ways to contribute to the society. It's through business also, through media also, through teaching and other jobs. At that point of time, I felt that this is the best way I can contribute. So I took a plunge into it, and these two things kept me motivated all through the time.
What was the motivation factor to join civil services? Because you come from a business family.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, that was mainly because I saw how my father is working. Because he is also a businessman, but he is enrolled in the charity. He works for the tribals also, for the children's also. From there, I saw that the sense of satisfaction that one derives from this service is unparalleled. Because on our birthdays, on special occasions, we used to go to that poor children's ashram. It was a kind of orphanage. So they the kind of smile that was on their faces when we give them even small sweets, the things we consider like for granted, like small chocolates and all those things. So that kind of smile, I was actually very much keen to contribute to that. So one reason was that. And then secondly, obviously, this is an exam which gives you a very good sense of achievement because it's a very tough exam. So once you clear it, you are actually at the very top. And then great lot of diversity is there in this exam. And this I would like to point out that's in IS the diversity is inherent, but in other services as well. For example, if you're a diplomat, you will work in the field of economics, culture. Similarly, in the police officer, you will work in the field of cyber crimes, investigation, law and order maintenance. Similarly, in the revenue, you have the enforcement, directorate, intelligence, and other jobs. So that kind of diversity, which it will keep you motivated, will give you a kind of excitement. So these were the main reasons for joining this job.
Okay, Vyom, it has been your sixth attempt. So, like every time you must be learning in each and every attempt. So, if you have to, just point out your major learnings in this whole process. So, what have you learned throughout this, like every step, and then every time you are improving?
Yes, ma'am. Few things that I would like to point out. Ma'am, one is that hard work is important and there is no alternative to that. But I think along with the hard work, the direction of the hard work should be proper. It should be exam oriented. And for that, timely periodical evaluation is very much necessary. Sometimes we do the hard work in a directionless manner. I think that does not bear the fruit. And secondly, I think the presentation, especially in the mains, is very important because mains constitute around like major chunk of the marks. So in the mains, as much as your content is important, your presentation is important. In my previous attempts, I did not pay that much attention to the presentation, but this year I did pay, and it paid me off. So second point is that. And third is consistency and perseverance. Because I believe that this exam is a kind of marathon. It's not like a sprint. So you give just one exam and you clear it. You have all the three stages stretching around a year. So it requires consistency. So it should not be like one day you are studying like a too much and then it's just like zero. So rather than that, if you study consistently, I think it will be better.
Okay, Vyom, you are an engineer. but you opted for a humanities subject, PSIR. So what prompted you to go for PSIR?
Ma'am, there were actually two main reasons. Ma'am, one is that the PSIR offers great congruence with the general studies paper. So with the PSIR, my paper 2 was entirely covered. A good portion of paper 4 was covered. And even in the essay, we get a lot of assistance from the PSIR. So one reason was that. Secondly, ma'am, I had interest in this subject. Even in my college days, although I was an engineer, but I was interested in political philosophies and I used to read those books. So I thought that my temperament also will be more suitable for this subject.
Okay, so I think your interest in a subject is one of the most important criteria to choose your optional. Yeah,
Definitely,
Vyom?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am, because you have to stay with that subject and you have to prepare it at the level which is more than that of graduation. Normally, they say that it's something
Yes.
around between BA and MA kind of syllabus. So I think that kind of proficiency will not be able, you are not able to achieve if you don't have an interest in that subject. So I think interest is very important.
Yeah, because your optional subject is where they are looking for in-depth knowledge.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, Vyom, so that we have started talking about mains. Tell us something about what was your strategy for preparation of paper 2 and 3, especially because they are more current oriented.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in paper 2 and 3, like in paper 2, over the time I have noted that along with the current, they are actually asking the basic portion as well. For example, suppose they will first ask the question on the constitutional provisions about tribunals, and then they will attach that how they are working. So I think one thing is that everyone should prepare for the constitutional traditional part as well. So those books are not redundant. But in the current, they are actually asking the problems more in the implementation form of thing. For example, there was a question relating to the Uniform Civil Code. It came in, I think, 2 years back. So that
Yes, sir.
question was not about what is Uniform Civil Code. It was more about what are the challenges in the implementation of Uniform Civil Code. Similarly, in the international relations, they are asking for the challenges. Like this year, there was a question on the Quad. So they were asking that how it will peter out. So I think this requires an analysis kind of thing. So a mere collection of facts will not do it. So one thing is that you collect the facts from the various areas, normally the newspapers. And if you have time, then you can go for some discussion, but you build your own opinion, and that too on an objective and rational basis. If you will carry someone else's opinion, I think it will not be, you will not be able to go that far, because then you will not be able to justify your stand in the paper or whatever position you take. So that is for the paper 2. For paper 3, my strategy was this: there are some low hanging fruits which you generally neglect. I think normally the candidates consider paper 3 is equal to economy. No doubt that is the major part. I think more than 50% is economy. But apart from that, the small topics like the internal security, like the disaster management, even science and tech to an extent, and the environment, what happens is that their questions are very easy. I just took the previous year papers and I found that even though the one question comes from internal security and disaster management, they were very easy. So they require very less preparation time and very good output could be there. So I will urge the candidates that for the paper 3, they should also look at these portions which are generally neglected. For the economy portion, I will again say the paper 2 thing still applies there. Sometimes traditional concepts are asked in the paper 3 as well. Or even if they are not asked, you will have to use them while giving your answers. So some kind of, say, suppose there is something like cash reserve ratio or the priority sector lending. So these kind of things you will have to mention in some kind of development oriented question. So I think if these things are taken care of, these improve me. And then presentation. Suppose this year there was a question in the paper 3 on internal security. It was asking something about left-wing extremism is there in the eastern part of India. So I just drew a small map and just pointed out the main areas. So these kind, like in the economics, you can have cyclical diagrams. Like unemployment leads to lack of income will lead to lack of investment. That will again lead to unemployment. So this kind of cyclical diagrams. So this will actually present your answer in a very small space in a better manner. So these are the difference that I made this time.
Okay, yes. Presentation does matter a lot because generally the content are similar with all the students because the sources are similar. Same
Yes.
newspapers, same basic books are there. The way you are presenting and these diagrams and flow charts and pie charts and all those things, they are really giving you some additional marks. And you are
Yes, ma'am.
right that yes, we need to have facts, because without facts we cannot analyze the things. But yes,
Yes,
only
ma'am.
fact based questions is like it's not the ultimate very good answer. You have to utilize your facts for your analysis, and then proper presentation. Good. So
Yes, ma'am.
view, what about paper 4?
Ma'am, in paper four, I think there are two kind of questions. Like one is a kind of theoretical questions. So suppose if they're asking some concepts, like one year there was a question on John Rawls' theory of justice. So on those kind of questions, I think traditional stuff will do. But on the opinion-based question, especially like the case study, and sometimes in the paper one also they ask these kind of questions like quotation-based questions. I think they require the examples from the real life. So
Yes.
for this, sometimes in the newspaper, many a times things come that this officer has done this thing good. Some officer has done, like I was reading an initiative in one of the cities where they were actually having this plastic polythene bag being replaced by the jute bags. It was started by a DC of that district. So that point I mentioned. So I think this giving the real life examples, they actually counter much. And then I think you have to use the terms of ethics to an extent. Means you do not make it too technical because it's a GS paper, but at least some kind of things like say words like justice, like equality, liberty. I think our preamble will give enough order for that. So those kind of things which are there in the preamble on the constitution, I think that needs to be reflected. You don't have to write the articles, but some ethical terms to give it a ethical dimension.
Yeah, some kind of a glossary is with every subject. Yeah, when you talk
Yes,
about
ma'am.
IR also, you have certain glossary. You can use those words. Yeah, strategic relationship
Yes,
or
ma'am.
dehyphenation. And then even in your
Exactly.
ethics also, yes, empathy, sympathy, you can use
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
And
Exactly, ma'am.
yes, and then Vyom, you are talking about like life, real life examples. There are some questions where we have to give. So that is something is different, which makes your example different from others. So
Yes, ma'am.
yes, we need to sprinkle such, and sometimes the questions are very direct personal questions. What according to you is happiness? So you have to,
Yes, ma'am. You
you have
define
to
them.
just do the justice to the answer by giving your own examples. Okay, and then let us come to paper number 1, which is more or less a very static, like history is there, geography is there. But of late, we are seeing they are asking diverse questions from in paper 1 also. So how did you manage that?
Yes, ma'am. You actually very rightly said. Uh, I analyzed that the geography questions, more or less, apart from the one question, most of them are current based. Like this year,
Yes.
there was a question on the water resource. One year, it was about the glacier meltdown. So I think that when we read geography, we should try to link it with some current issues. Suppose you are reading about a disaster which came, like the cyclone came or some landslide came, then try to study the geographical reasons for that. And if your basic concepts are right, it will not be very difficult. Because suppose we know that what is the earthquake prone area, we know that what is the cyclone prone area. So you link with those, and you also give the examples. Even if the question is completely traditional, you try to instill those examples. And whenever you give these examples of the case study, you try to make them visible. In my earlier attempts, what I did is I used to write the case study just as like that, means between the answers. So they were less visible. This time, what I did is I drew a small box on the right hand corner of the answer sheet and wrote the case study or an example in that box. So what the difference it makes is that it is more visible. At least the examiner will see it. Similarly, in the history also, I think there is a scope to use maps. Suppose they're asking about the Bhakti movement or the Sufi movement, wherever it spread. If not more, you can just learn the four names and you can from the four different corners of the country and you can draw a small map in that. And also try to give some kind of additional perspective. Suppose if they're asking about women's movement in the independence in the colonial period, in the end, in a single line, you can say that it also impacted our constitutional provision, which promises equality to the women. So this kind of continuation, like socialism question is there in the anti-colonial struggle. So that you can also reflect that this word is reflected in a preamble as well. So that will give a kind of good link with that. And I think here also there are two low-hanging fruits which we generally miss: society questions and one question from the urbanization. Generally, we go it with like that we will answer that. But I think if it is specifically prepared, then there are some, just like you mentioned, glossary. There is some glossary for sociology as well. Suppose feminization of the agriculture labor force, or pink collar jobs, or Sanskritization, things like that. So I do think that these do matter. And similarly, for the urbanization, only one question comes. They are limited facts that you have to remember, and more or less the question will be same. Similarly, in the globalization, if I want to give an example, on the globalization, every year almost single question will come in different forms. It will be more or less the
Yes.
impact of globalization on Indian culture. It has a very standard kind of answer. So I think focus should be on the low hanging fruits as well.
Yeah, and you have rightly said that the presentation, because like in history, you cannot maneuver much around your history answers, but the way you are presenting it, that is something makes it different from your other answers. Okay, like Vyom, for GS, it is said that now the question trend is that most of the questions, even in history also, sometimes even in geography also, they are asking questions which are related to current. So current affairs has become a very important part and parcel of GS preparation. And the problem is that we have so many platforms, we have so many sources for current. Yeah. So what should be the right strategy for current preparation? Newspaper plus magazines or whatever. What was your source?
Ma'am, I think I committed the mistake of referring to too many sources in my early attempts, and that's why I failed. In my this attempt, I just ensured that I choose the best resources, but I revise them time and again because I think preparation is more like eating a food. So it does not matter how much we eat, but how much we digest. Similarly, for the current affairs, I will say you take any one newspaper, okay, that you read thoroughly, and a second newspaper to supplement it. In the second newspaper you can just read the edit portion or the op-ed portion and some other news which might have been missing here and there. So that is all the newspaper. Then one magazine you follow, whichever magazine you like, because every institute magazine they have different kind of writing style. So whatever magazine you pick up, but follow that religiously, only one magazine. And I think if you get time, because sometimes like we have free time, so in those you can listen to discussions which comes on Sunset TV. Now earlier it was like Rajya Sabha TV, now it is Sunset TV. But listen to good discussions and use your time judiciously, because it should not be like you log into the YouTube and then you go somewhere else. So I think if you keep your resources limited and revise it again, because what I realized it that in the exam like pressure conditions, already your or your best performance is always not available. So only if you learn a thing very well, if you, that thing is very much revised, only then you will be able to reproduce in the exam in that 3 hours. And remember that this exam is more about, it's also about psychological testing. So it's not about knowledge. So it's like the morning exam is 9 to 12, and then there is 2 to 5. Next day the same schedule. So sometimes what happens, morning exam is not good, and then may have impact on your evening exam. So in that case also, unless and until you have to think thoroughly revised, it will not come to your mind easily. So have the limited resources, good resources, and revise it often.
Yes, yes, Vyom, you have rightly said that. Like, yes, we should have limited resources. What is the general that problem that we have seen among students is like when they are reading IR, they want to become C. Raja Mohan. When they are reading economics, they want to become Raghuram Rajan. So this is not the requirement of this exam. Yeah,
Yes.
so yeah, we have to limit our sources, and then according to the exam we have to prepare, not to become experts in a particular field here. Okay, Vyom, then let us start. When we are talking about your mains, then one of the important papers is your essay paper. Yeah. So
Yes, ma'am.
how did you manage that? Because essay is something which some of the students are quite fearful of this paper. So what was your strategy, Vyom?
Ma'am, for essay, one thing I would like to point out is that philosophical essay, now it is coming invariably. So one thing is accept it as a fact of life, and you must prepare for it. Secondly, I think in the essay, the flow of the essay is also equally important, just as your content. Because in the GS, you can answer in the point format, you can give heading, subheading. Here also, I also give subheading, but still the flow of the essay is very much important. So I think that a sequence must come, and that will come easily by practice. Because for essay, you don't have to study anything else. But if you don't practice, then that will be a problem. So I think in essay, practice is most important, and you can refer to the topper's essay, see that how the flow has been made, how the interlinking is done. They will give you a good idea that what is being rewarded, and also do have some facts, especially if it's a logical essay. In the philosophical essay, you need to give examples, more and more examples, and in the logical essay, you have to give the facts and try to diversify them. Sometimes what happens is, suppose my optional is political science, and there is an essay on, suppose, say, women safety. I may be tempted to give more and more political angle to it. That okay, legal problem is there, political challenge is there, Parliament is not passing the women reservation bill, but that I think will not do. So you rather than having the more depth in one dimension, have more and more and more and more of dimensions. And second thing is, whenever you're writing an essay, I think at least after every page, you should reconsider the topic in your mind, that whether you are writing according to the topic or not. Sometimes what happens is that we start with the topic, but we end up somewhere else. So I think that kind of limiter should always be there. After every 1 or 2 pages, you should just revise the heading of the essay, the topic of the essay, so that you can actually ensure that your essay is going in the required direction. So that is very important.
I think, Vyom, this thing that whether you are right according to the demand of the question, this goes true with even GS papers also, because
Yes,
sometimes
ma'am.
what happens is whatever we are writing, whatever we are writing might be correct, but it might not be the actual demand of the question. So
Yes,
sometimes we get
exactly, ma'am.
deviated. Okay. So, Vyom, how was your interview experience? You have been with the board thrice.
Yes, ma'am. I think the board members are very cordial. Normally, we have the perception that they will ask very tough questions, they will be very strict. I don't know, some boards may be like that, but the boards which I was interviewed, they were very cordial. So they will easily change the topic which you are uncomfortable with. I remember this interview also. They were asking me some questions about India-UK foreign free trade agreement. I was not able to answer. I just gave some 1 2 points. Then he asked me what are the specific issues. I said, sorry, sir, I could not recall. Then he was like very kind. He said, okay, no worries, we will change the topic. So they are very cordial. Sometimes they will even offer you support. They will even offer you hints that this can be the answer. So I think there the best part, the only advice I will give is be natural, because sometimes we get a review that we have to improve it like that, we have to improve like that. We do have to improve, but the very natural tendency, it cannot be changed and it should not be changed, because unnaturalness will be reflected in your answers. And if that unnaturalness is reflected, I think that will be more damaging. So be natural and like be normal. Obviously some nervousness is always there because it's very important for you, but still try to be natural. If you will try to be like too much, unnatural and trying to incorporate the things which are not there in your personality, then I think it will be difficult.
Whose board was it, Vyom, this time?
Ma'am, this time I was having the Sir Bharat Bhushan Vyas.
Okay. Yeah, see, UPSC itself is telling the candidates that this is a personality test.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
and we neglect this word, and we are more focusing on gathering knowledge and all those things. This is not the test of the knowledge. UPSC clearly says
Yes, ma'am.
personality test. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Vyom, now like prelims are approaching, and you have given all your 6 attempts, and prelims is a very dicey portion in your whole UPSC journey. So I think you are the right person to tell the do's and don'ts for prelims.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I am actually like prelims. I see that they're actually becoming more difficult than mains, because the margin of error in the prelims is very less. In the mains, still there is like 7 papers, so you can cover like 1 2 marks can be covered. But in the prelims, sometimes one misses by just 0.3 marks. So give adequate importance to prelims. I think ideally before the prelims exam, at least 3 months before, one should leave all kind of mains preparation, focus exclusively on the prelims. That one. And second is that going by the cutoffs every time and the level of paper that is coming, I believe that it is very rare that a person will know the exact number of questions which are required to clear the cutoff. So suppose if the cutoff is 100 marks, I think rarely there will be a student who has the confidence to say that I will attempt 50 questions and I will clear. So go with this mindset that you will have to take calculated risk. Now, what that level of risk should be, that I think comes by the practice, and where there you should utilize the mock tests, because many a times students go for the mock test just for the knowledge. That is an important aspect. You have to, it gives you revision also, it gives you new facts also. But the strategy that you will adopt, that whether you will adopt 60 questions, 70 questions, 80 questions, you should judge that what the risk I'm taking is, where it is leading it to me. In some questions you are like, you are confused among us the 2 options. In some questions you are confused among us the 3 options. So while practicing only, you develop that right kind of strategy, that how much of risk I will take, so that you can get an optimum score which will clear you. And I think that the saying that the more you bleed on the practice field, the more you sweat on the practice field, the less you bleed on the ground, applies to the prelims very appropriately. So I think practice, and along with the knowledge, do have a strategy, because otherwise I think it will not be able. Some people are not even able to manage the time there. Sometimes paper is lengthy, and sometimes what happens. This happened to me this year. I was looking to the question. So first question I did not knew. Second also did not knew. this thing went up to 20 questions. So like I was very disturbed that I'm not even able to answer a single question with confidence. So what I did is I started from the last one, from the 100th question, and they were polity questions, and I'm normally comfortable with polity. Sometimes these things also may happen. So never be disheartened. What happens is like if by giving 10, 20 questions, you feel like that none is coming, it may be possible that the easy questions are lying ahead. So if you have this kind of problem, do start from the reverse, or at least be confident that the easy questions will come later on. And then this strategy that I told you, that you have to take a risk, at least in most of the cases, in 99% of the cases, I feel. So develop a strategy for that beforehand.
So calmness in the examination hall is one of the most important things that is required.
Definitely.
And I think UPSC exam tests your calmness, and that is what is even required in job also. You have to be very calm and patient.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Vyom, what would you like to, talk to the future aspirants like you, because it's a 6 years journey. So you have a lot of experience, lot many ups and downs you have seen. So what would you like to share with the future aspirants so that they will be really motivated and one day they would be sitting there and we would be taking their interviews?
Ma'am, few things that I have learned in this 7 years journey. Ma'am, the biggest thing is have confidence on yourself, because I have faced repeated failures and I know the value of the statement. Because if you have belief in yourself, I think you can overcome any failure. But if you don't have that, you will bog down by this. And this exam is like that, where the disappointments may happen. So that is I think the prime importance. Have confidence in yourself that you will be able to crack it. Secondly, hard work is important, but more important is smart work, because the syllabus of the exam is too vast, or rather it is, although syllabus is given there, but it's still too vast. So have the smart work. And for the smart work, I will in fact refer to your strategy. I think you only told in one of the classes that have always the look at the syllabus and the previous year questions. Even for the essay, you were actually referring this, because we normally neglect the syllabus of the actually I also did not know that essay has a syllabus. You only told in the one class that look, essay also has a syllabus and you have to be according to that syllabus. So that is second suggestion. Be always in knowledge of the syllabus and the previous year questions, so you get the direction that how to prepare. And thirdly, ma'am, I think timely evaluation is also very important. Sometimes we put in a lot of hard work and we do all the tests and all those things, but we do not self-evaluate. See, sometimes what happens is that I might have given a paper which is not good according to me, but I might have scored good in that paper. But that should not, satisfy you. Your competition, rather than with anyone else, should be with yourself first. So you should first self-evaluate, self-introspect that whatever I'm doing, whether I am more capable or not. So do your best, and then you go for the secondary, the comparison with the others. So this will help you to take best out of yourself. So these three things I think will help every aspirant.
Yeah, Vyom, it is such a wonderful moment that we are talking with you, and it's wonderful that you have achieved such a great success. And wish you all the best for all your future endeavors, and wish to see you as a successful IPS officer. Thank you, Vyom.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot for you. You have taught me a lot, and your role was instrumental in my success. Similarly, next IES actually gave such a beautiful material that I could not get from anywhere else. Especially for the technical students, there was always a lag. So while we were preparing for the interview for the mains, so not for the mains, but for the interview, there was a lag. But next offered that material, and the boards were very good. The material was very good. The faculty was very cordial. So thanks a lot.
Yes. See, this technical aspect, because most of the time we have seen the students who have done their engineering, but they are out of touch from the subjects. So they get a very good, very good material from us, and all the teaching support is with them. All the next IS teachers are there to help you, guide you. So again, once again, thank you so much, Vyom, and all the best to you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Vyom.
Okay.